For many women, their late 20s, early 30s is a time when they're looking for a long-term relationship that could ultimately lead to marriage and a family. But of course, it's not for everyone. Adam Marshall has met a woman who's sworn off romance for 1,000 days.
Hey guys, so this is a cringe video from one of the worst news and current affairs shows in Australia called Today Tonight about this chick who swore off from sucking and fucking guys for just under 3 years. Allegedly, she must have a wardrobe full of vibrators at home. And what makes me go what the fuck instantly is that the stupid sign they made up with the crossed out shape of a man. Fucking misandry cunts. And then the reporter highlights how marriage and family is not for everyone, i.e. that women are happily single and independent. And what makes my blood boil is I could never see for the life of me them featuring a Mgtow segment and mentioning how men who are unmarried and not dating are much happier, have a truckload more money to spend, and enjoy life on a deeper level just because they have a fucking nagging wife to answer to.
True love conquers all. In Hollywood,
still isn't over.
And everyday life.
Nobody ever kissed me the way you do.
But not Vanessa Katsoulis, at least for the next 1,000 days.
No kissing, no flirting, no sex, no dating for 1,000 days.
Is playing with dildos allowed? You know, vibrators?
Vanessa is on a journey of self-discovery.
I am determined to see out 1,000 days. If Mr. Right comes along at day 800, he has to wait 200 days.
No. No, please no. So we have this chick who is rapidly approaching the wall without a helmet, who is definitely not a looker. Seriously, I would not be caught by my mates making out, let alone holding hands with her. And then notice how stuck up and sure of herself she is. Waiting over 6 months for a kiss or a blowjob? Are you fucking serious? I'll tell you what most guys would do in this situation. If you look really hot, which you're not, they would simply start banging other chicks on the side while you count out your virginity sentence waiting for that Mr. Right who is getting other women's lipstick all over his dipstick. And why do they always put that shitty Beyonce song in the background when it comes to single bitches? No one's gonna put a ring on it. Not with that shitty attitude anyway. 6 months for a kiss or a blowjob? Really? See, a lot of women have this illusion that the longer you make the man wait for sex, the more he respects you. Let me tell you this. Most blokes I know would give up on a third date if you didn't put out. So if you really love that vibrator, keep making us wait. We love the wait, said no one ever.
But she has her weak points.
My ideal person, I suppose, would be wise and loving and honest and have a beard.
Well, that says a lot. There are thousands of grandpas in their 60s and 70s who would be a perfect match. See, this is why I hate women's dating advice. They have no fucking idea what they're talking about. I mean, loving and honest, and he has to have a beard. Seriously, this chick wants a daddy, not a boyfriend.
I think that we've got someone like that. You're wise, aren't you, Nick? You're single? Sorted.
Oh no, champ, stay away. She'll make you wait 6 months just to flirt with you, if that ever happens.
It simply gets worse the older you get.
That's actually true. The older the woman gets, say after 30, the harder it is for her to find a suitable man to settle down and start a family.
Maybe Vanessa shouldn't be putting her love life on hold for too long though. Demographer Bernard Salt.
There is a man drought, and it particularly applies after the age of 35.
Vanessa is only 27. At that age, her odds of finding the perfect match have never been better. For every 122 single men, there's only 100 single women. By the time she finishes, she'll be 30. The odds will have decreased. 116 single men for every 100 single women. But finding true love is more than just a numbers game. It's a science.
As most Aussie men will tell you, most of Australian women are simply not worth dating. In our gynocentric culture, women are very self-entitled, picky, uptight, bitchy and overweight, and they don't know how to take care of a man. Feminism has made women act like this in Australia and other Western countries such as America, Canada and UK. For the average man, dating in Australia and other Western countries is extremely difficult due to 2 reasons. 1. The self-entitled, picky nature of Aussie women who only consider dating the top 10% of men. 2. thirsty men or manginas who are desperate and will pander to the needs of women by doing anything for them. Most Aussie women only ever consider dating a man who is in the top 10%, which means that 90% of average guys will miss out. The top 10% of men are usually rich, tall, drive a luxury car, own a house, and have a muscular body.
They need to be the right age group, they need to be the right gender, they need to be the right status, that is, single, and you need to form a connection with them.
A sign so many Australian women seem to be struggling to come to terms with, because once you're in your 30s, it starts to go downhill if you're a single woman looking for a good single man.
Let me introduce you to the wall. The wall represents the point in a woman's life where her sexual market value has fallen to zero and men no longer give her the desired treatment. It is generally agreed that the wall hits an average woman when she reaches the age of 30. However, women who abuse drugs and alcohol or who are fat smash the wall as early as 25. The wall is caused by many factors which can be divided into physical and psychological. A woman's physical attributes change as she ages. Her physical beauty peaks in her early 20s. By the age 30, her breasts will have begun to sag, wrinkles and white hair will begin to show. Coincidentally, her fertility begins to decline. The psychological aspect of the wall is further subdivided into internal and external. Internally, a girl begins her life with the love of her parents. Later, she proceeds to school and possibly college. Up to this point in time, all her expenses were paid by parents and the government. From the period after graduation before 30, she is in the peak of her beauty and maximum sexual market value. As such, men readily treat her to free food, drinks and social events. This enables her to continue a lifestyle in excess of her own income. By the age of 30, all these privileges would have been depleted. Meanwhile, she may have had a student loan to repay. Suddenly, her income must be greater than her expenses to remain solvent. Career-wise, 30 is around the age where meaningful promotions become substantially more difficult to obtain. Externally, all men prefer young girls. This isn't a problem when the woman is in her 20s. By the time she hits 30, her male peers who are serious about marriage would have been married or in a long-term relationship. Those remaining peers interested in marriage would have moved on to younger women and more fertile girls. This leaves the pool with men who are not interested in a long-term relationship or men that other girls have rejected. When a woman asks, where have all the good men gone, she has hit the wall.
Through late 30s, early 40s, you find there's around about 90 single men for 100 single women in Australia. It's about a 10% shortage. By the time you get over 65, in fact, there's 50 single men for every 100 single women.
I'm a big believer that there's not a shortage of good men and women out there. I'm the opposite opinion.
There is hope after all. Our standards are just too high and we're too busy.
As I mentioned before, most Aussie women will only consider dating a man who is in the top 10%, which means 90% of average guys out there will miss out. The top 10% of men are usually wealthy, attractive, drive a luxury car and own a house or a boat. In Australia, women only ever date up, while men are forced to date down. For example, an Aussie woman who might be a 6 would only consider dating a man who is 8 or above.
Relationship expert Dr. John Aitken.
People put a lot of pressure on themselves and get too anxious about finding the perfect partner. And this actually ends up working against them.
Rules pretty much dictate a woman only has as much desirability and power that her looks allow. When those fade, despite what they may think, power is lost as well. It may take her brain a couple extra years to process and accept this fact, but it stays true nonetheless. Is anything sadder than a female past her prime that still acts like she has the power and allure of a 23-year-old? But as men get older, if we simply take relatively good care of ourselves and carry on suitably, we actually become more attractive, or at the very least maintain previous levels. Women like older guys, period. I'm not even saying you have to be super fit or well off. Just don't be a fat ass and present yourself appropriately in the right scene and you can still do very well or even flourish with far younger women.
But if you still don't have any luck, maybe take Vanessa's lead and go it alone for 1,000 days.
I'm the happiest I've ever been.
If you're so happy, then why the fuck are you going on national television to proclaim your single status? Surely it's to draw more attention to yourself because let's face it, most guys will not give you a second look, let alone look at you in the first place.
I'm discovering that love comes in so many different forms and that I have so much love around me.
Yep, you keep telling yourself that. Lots of vibrators, dildos and ice cream tubs all around you. Guys, if you want to see more stories like this from today tonight, like, subscribe and comment.